Hello, beautiful souls. It's me, Shamama Hunting Owl, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the solstice. Even though tomorrow, well, depending on where you are, is the full moon in Gemini, the messages I keep getting today are all focusing on the solstice. When I try to tap into to the full moon in Gemini, I hear a lot of noise, a lot of talking, a lot of conversations in the ethers. And it feels like a very rushed, speedy, quick energy that's surrounding Gemini. I don't know if I really didn't do any looking into Gemini and what the planets are saying about it, but I'm just feeling what I feel in the energy. And in this communication, in these conversations, in all of this dialogue going on, because we have Mercury in retrograde and Mars, I think, in retrograde, there's a lot of miscommunication that can happen, or let's say a need to be very articulate and very clear when having conversations and dialogues during this time, of your intentions and where you're at. So pay attention to that for this full moon. I'm also hearing we're going to continue to be purging. Purging and clearing, purging and clearing. There's a lot of heart opening happening. There's a lot of painful experiences I'm hearing that we are releasing, that we're letting go, and it's actually working its way through our digestive system. I'm hearing the things that hurt us, that we willfully accepted, the things that we chose to eat, swallow, eat, digest in our physical world that may not have been to our highest benefit. And I'm not actually speaking of actual food, although I guess it could be, but I'm talking about in a bigger dynamic of what are the things that you choose to accept. What do you choose to allow in your life that you take in willfully and allow to feed and nourish your system? And how has that affected your heart, your heartbreak, you closing your heart off to love, to trust, to forgiveness? So I'm seeing a big element of that, and that's part of the purging that we are releasing through our digestive system. Bloating, nausea, vomiting, pooping issues, maybe lack of appetite, all of these things right now you may be experiencing with the Gemini moon. I'm just hearing it's purging, it's clearing, it's purging, it's clearing, and it's allowing the heart expansion to happen. But today's main message is all focused on the solstice. And what I kept hearing about the solstice and seeing was this golden yellow light. And depending obviously where you are hemispherically in the world, we are having the winter solstice here. The message I was receiving was the darkest, shortest day, right, is the solstice, the day of the least amount of light, which means it's the longest amount of dark. It might be a very dark and scary day. And I don't, for some people, it may bring you into the moments of feeling at your lowest vibrational point. It may bring you into a state or a place where you may be feeling bad. All of those voices and shadows and things that we tell ourselves may be coming up for us as we approach the solstice. But what I heard in this, and this yellow light, was all standing for our solar plexus. So the next thing that is coming after this moon with all of this heart and digestive thing is going to be this solar plexus clearing, shift, healing that Archangel Metatron, Lord Metatron, is going to be holding space for us. Now, for those of you who don't know about Archangel Metatron, Lord Metatron, he is known as the Lesser Yahweh. He was seen as the mediator between humans and God, as a bridge. And his role, and the reason that he has this very special role, is because he is one of the two archangels who were actually human form, and then became archangels. Metatron was actually Enoch from the Bible. So for those of you who have heard of Enoch, and he was I think the grandfather to Noah, or great grandfather or something to Noah, and Enoch was an incredibly faithful, godly to a T, human who one day never died, never actually had a physical death, but literally materialized, vaporized into spirit. And because he was so truthful and faithful to God, and he stands as this role. Okay, so Metatron is helping facilitate bringing in this healing for our solar plexus, for the solstice. Again, this golden yellow light that I'm seeing, like the sun, the darkest point, now facing the darkest part of the night, and the sun rising into the days being longer, being more light in our lives, all solar plex related. It's an acceptance. No, it's not an acceptance. Okay, wait. It's a balancing of the head mind and the heart mind with the soul mind, and not allowing any one of those to take over. Generally, the one that's the issue taking over, well, I mean, I guess sometimes we can bleed out with our hearts and our, and overdo, and our minds get in the way, and we chatter a lot. So there's a balancing, and our soul mind, our intuition, is the mind that we really need to tap into. But we have to balance that heart emotional mind as well as the mental mind, that logical practical mind. So this energy that Metatron is bringing in, that is supporting us with this light, is going to take us from our deepest fears. And our solar plexus is about our will, our self-confidence, our self-esteem, our ability to move forward and to do the things that we are guided, determined, willful, inspired to do, right? So this solstice is going to be asking us, it's true, to be brave. And so as soon as I started hearing Metatron and all of this coming through, I heard a song, Against the Wind, it's called, by Bob Seger. And I kept hearing, so I wrote down the words I heard. Still running, the years have rolled slowly past, surrounded by strangers I thought were my friends. I found myself now further from my home. I guess I lost my way. now I'm searching for for shelter. Um, and so what I was, as I was sitting and writing all of this down, there was an element of surrendering the outcome of whatever it is your fears are. Okay. Whatever this darkest moment before the light, before you see the light, before you feel the light, before you feel the power come rise within you, that you can align all of your minds in a clear, concise way in order to take action, in order to be brave. So we surrender whatever the outcome is to the situation that we need to be brave about, which means we need to take the risk. We need to take the risk, regardless of whether we know what the outcome of the situation might be, whether it's the outcome we want or not, let's say. And what I'm also hearing about being brave. What does being brave look like for you? There's an element in how do you show up being brave? Do you normally, is your action, because I feel like you're being asked to show up in a different way than you normally show up being brave. So maybe normally, so how I show up being brave most of the time is standing in my faith, right? Trusting, being faithful, and just maintaining that space to the best of my ability. Other people may show up being brave by taking bold action, where I may not take bold action in being brave, where my bravery is like, I'm going to stand here and just trust. Other people might be active. And I feel like you're being asked right now to look at what bravery means to you and how you show up in your world as brave, and how maybe you might be being asked to show up a little differently. Okay, so that's what I'm hearing. Maybe before, your ability to be brave was because your bravery was based on a lot of intellectual, factual knowledge. Maybe you were able to be brave and take risks and face fears because you did a lot of research about the thing that you were afraid of. Okay, let's use an example of that. Like, let's say you were going to bungee jump. Okay? And it's something you're really afraid of. But you really kind of want to do it. Like, you want to be brave, but you're scared, like you might die, right? It happens. It can happen, right? You don't necessarily know the outcome. Your time to die could be your time to die or get hurt or injured, right? And you're scared to death, but you kind of want to be brave and take action and do it. But so you do your research, right? Most people would be like, okay, I'm going to check out the bungee jumping company and see if there's been any accidents and any deaths and any lawsuits, and like I'm going to check like all of this stuff. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, like we should do that, but at the end of the day, accidents happen, right? You could have a perfect record of being like the best bungee jumping place in the world and have had no accidents, and then one thing could happen and shit could happen, right? You're being asked to not worry about the research, to trust that if your heart and your soul and your mind body are all showing you something that you might wanting to face, a fear, because a fear is something that's, most of the time unrealistic. We hold it, we carry it in our bodies, in our minds, in whatever. based on faulty facts from the past, or old experiences that may not be repeating themselves again. So coming back, be brave is what they keep saying. Regardless of the outcome, regardless of if you know if it's 110% safe or not to do, or whatever it is, you're being asked to trust and take action. Throw caution to the wind. Stop running. Okay, running. What is the song? Still running against the wind. Stop running against the wind. Stop running against the wind. Stop making it harder on yourself. Because in running against the wind, like the words from this song are, he kept like running and searching for something that he wasn't going to find. And he found himself amongst strangers after all these years that he thought were his friends. And now he's so far from home that he doesn't know how to get back there. Coming back to yourself. And I'm hearing Metatron coming back to that bridge, bridging the connection, bridging the trust, bridging the faith, that you are protected, that everything that is occurring for you and not to you. Okay? And that's a big one. Trust. Everything is happening in your benefit. Face the fears and be brave. Be brave. Surrender the outcome and be brave. Be faithful. Enoch, okay, so Enoch became Metatron. Enoch was a human. The other human was Elijah, who became Archangel Sandalphon. Both of them, the key, and Lord and Metatron, Archangel Metatron, Lord Metatron, he connects us to the Christ consciousness grid, to the highest dimension of consciousness, of God, of divinity. So he brings that grid. He allows that consciousness to come into our space and anchor into our heart. And Sandalphon brings up the Earth Mother grid, the grid from the divine coming from creation, and anchors that, grounding that Earth Mother into our hearts. But they both serve, and they're showing me they're going to both be serving, but Metatron is taking the lead in this solstice for us. Yeah. All right. So stop running against the wind. Stop making things harder for yourself. If there's something that needs to be faced in the darkest hour, the sun will rise. The golden light will surround you. But you have to be brave. You know, you can hide in that fear and in that darkness under the covers with the shades drawn down, or you can peek out from under the covers. Like I'm literally seeing like a child who's afraid of like a nightmare or a monster under their bed. You know, the covers over the head, everything's closed. Be brave. Be brave. Even if everything out there says something in the contrary, or you can't find out what you need to find out, be brave and trust. Trust that you're being guided. And I'm hearing being guided home. back to home, back to yourself, back to knowing who you are, um, who you are, and they're showing me who you are, and then who those are around you, um, coming into the space around you. The place you hold in your life, in your world, and those around you. Oh, the friends, the strangers that I thought were my friends. So there's something in that shedding of the strangers who you thought were your friends. Seeing who you are and your place in that, and then those around you who are true. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting energy, you guys. So if you're here still with me, I hope that some of this might have resonated with you. They're saying, you know, best ways to get through it, if you meditate, if you pray, if you spend time in silence, in nature, all of that, connecting with Metatron, connecting with our solar plexus, actively exploring our process of the things, peeking out from under those covers and looking and realizing that there's no monster under the bed, or that, you know, what you thought was a monster was the shadow of something else, and that there is sunlight coming through the window. You know, I've been saying this the month of December, the miracle month. Trust it, believe in it. This is the time. We will not be forsaken. That's what I hear. We will not be forsaken. So all right, guys, a little different than usual, but gets the story through and the point across. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for being here. I am sending you all so much love and light, gratitude and blessings. Always, 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 beautiful souls. I love you, and we'll talk again soon. All right, bye-bye.